The Phantom Barber of Pascagoula. The Quiet Town. In the summer of 1942, the small coastal city of Pascagoula, Mississippi, was a gentle, quiet world. A place where the salt air drifted in from the Gulf, where people left their windows open at night to catch a cool breeze, and where the rhythms of life felt slow, steady, and predictably safe. Children played in the sandy streets until dusk. Families sat on porches sharing stories about fishing, church life, or husbands away at war. And at night, as cicadas pulsed in the humid air, the town rested under a warm, peaceful blanket of silence. But that peaceful silence would soon be invaded by a whispering presence that moved like mist in the dark. A figure who climbed through bedroom windows, sliding across floors without a sound. A figure who never woke his victims, yet left behind a chilling calling card. A lock of hair, snipped clean, missing. To this day, no one truly knows who he was. No one knows why he came. And no one knows why he vanished just as quietly as he appeared. This is the atmospheric, unsettling tale of the Phantom Barber of Pascagoula, one of America's strangest unsolved intruder cases, whispered about for more than 80 years. A story soaked in tension, mystery, and the eerie stillness of the Deep South. CO keywords woven into intro: Phantom Barber Mystery, Pascagoula Mystery, True Eerie Mysteries, Strange 1940s Crimes. The first whisper. Our story begins on a warm June night in 1942. Two little girls, Mary Evelyn Briggs and Edna Marie Byron, slept in the dormitory of the Convent of the Sisters of the Good Shepherd. They were safe, sheltered, watched over by the nuns, held in the protective quiet of the convent walls. Sometime after midnight, the room grew still. The kind of stillness so deep that it feels like the world itself has stopped breathing. Outside, magnolia trees swayed gently beneath the moonlight. Inside, the girls slept soundly under thin summer blankets. And then something shifted. A figure slipped through an unlocked window. No footstep. No breath. Not even the creak of a floorboard. The intruder moved with an unnatural softness. He leaned over the girls, not waking them, not touching anything else. And with a pair of scissors, he cut handfuls of their hair. Neatly, precisely, coldly. By morning, the girls awoke confused, their hair noticeably shorter, strands scattered on the floor like dried seaweed after a storm. They hadn't heard a thing. They hadn't felt a thing. But someone had been standing right above them, silently working in the dark. Word spread quickly. The newspapers called him the Phantom Barber. Pascagoula called him something worse. The intruder who could enter any home. And the one you'd never wake up to see. Fear begins to spread. 2 nights later. Another warm Mississippi night. Another open window. Another house full of sleeping people. The home belonged to Mr. and Mrs. Heidelberg, a well-respected family in Pascagoula, known for their friendliness and their tendency to leave windows unlocked, just like everyone else in town. It was a place of comfort. A place of trust. Until the Phantom Barber arrived. He slipped into their bedroom, but this time, Mrs. Heidelberg stirred. Something, instinct, fear, or fate, nudged her awake. She opened her eyes to see a shadow standing near the foot of her bed. In a panic, she screamed. And the Phantom Barber darted away, a dark blur vanishing through the window before Mr. Heidelberg could react. Left behind on the windowsill, a faint smell of hair tonic. And on the floor, a few strands of cut hair. As neighbors heard the news, fear blossomed like a dark stain across the community. The newspapers called him bold, silent, impossible to predict. The Phantom Barber wasn't harming anyone, not physically, but what he took was far more unsettling. Their sense of safety. Their trust in the darkness. Their certainty that home meant protection. The town locks its windows. As June turned into July, the Phantom Barber became the whispered boogeyman of Pascagoula. Mothers double-checked their children's bedrooms every night. Fathers stayed awake with shotguns resting across their laps. Police patrolled the streets, headlights sweeping the quiet houses like watchful eyes. But the Phantom Barber moved like water slipping through cracks, gliding unseen, never leaving fingerprints, always staying one step ahead. He struck again and again. At least 6 confirmed intrusions. Always silencers. Always hair stolen. Theories spiraled. Was he a deranged barber? Was he a collector of hair? Was he someone practicing to commit darker crimes? Or something stranger, something the newspapers refused to print? Some locals said he had supernatural abilities, that no ordinary man could move so quietly through so many locked houses. Others whispered he was practicing witchcraft, using the stolen hair for rituals brought from the swamps. And some believed he wasn't working alone. But theories didn't matter. Because every night, windows were mistakenly left unlocked. And every night, Pascagoula felt like a town holding its breath. The most terrifying attack. Everything changed on a late July night. This time, the Phantom Barber didn't just cut hair. He attacked. The victims were the Terrell family, specifically 34-year-old Mr. Terrell and his pregnant wife, Mrs. Terrell. The barber entered their home as usual, silently, easily, as if he had memorized every window latch in the city. But for reasons no one has ever understood. This time he brought a length of sand-filled rubber hose. Mr. Terrell awoke to a sudden pressure smashing against his skull. He tried to fight back, but the Phantom Barber struck again and again. Mrs. Terrell screamed a scream so sharp it cut through the summer air like a blade. Neighbors rushed over. The barber fled. Inside the house, police found 2 locks of Mrs. Terrell's hair neatly cut on the floor. This wasn't just an intruder anymore. This was someone growing bolder, more desperate, and entirely unpredictable. The people of Pascagoula were no longer afraid. They were terrified. CO keywords strengthened, strange 1940s crimes, Phantom Barber mystery, true unexplained crimes. A suspect is named. But questions remain. Under immense pressure, local police finally made an arrest. The suspect was a German-American chemist named William Dolan, already under suspicion for having anti-American views during World War II. But here's the truth. There was barely any evidence. A few vague connections. A political grudge. A pair of scissors found in his house, hardly unusual. And yet Dolan was convicted. Sentenced to 10 years in prison. Many said the police were just desperate to calm the town, desperate to give the people a name, a face, a villain. But not everyone was convinced. The break-ins continued for a short time even after Dolan's arrest. And the hair-cutting incidents, the trademark of the Phantom Barber, were never definitively linked to him. 10 years later, Dolan was fully pardoned. And the question echoed across Pascagoula for decades. If Dolan wasn't the Phantom Barber, then who was? Theories that still haunt the town. As the years passed, the Phantom Barber became a ghost in the pages of true crime history, rarely mentioned compared to more violent killers. But those who study obscure, eerie, unsolved cases still whisper theories that drift like fog around the edges of this story. Some believe he was a disturbed young man with an obsession for hair, a fetish that escalated into violence. Others believe he was a military barber stationed nearby, slipping into town at night while maintaining a clean record by day. And a few locals, even decades later, still claim he wasn't human at all. That he slipped through windows too small for any person. That dogs never barked when he approached. That he vanished between houses like a shadow melting into the earth. Whatever the truth, his presence left a scar across Pascagoula, a reminder that danger does not always break down doors. Sometimes, it simply climbs through your window. Quiet. Patient. Unseen. The final night. One evening, near the end of that sweltering Mississippi summer, the Phantom Barber appeared for the last time. No one knows exactly when. No one heard him. No one saw him flee. But a family awoke to find their daughter's hair cut cleanly, perfectly, without a sound. And then, the Phantom Barber vanished from history forever. No more home intrusions. No more cut hair. No more shadows slipping through open windows. As if he were never a man at all. But a brief, unsettling whisper in the dark. A haunting carried away by the slow-moving Gulf breeze. Pascagoula went back to normal. Windows opened again. Children slept peacefully once more. But the older residents, those who lived through that summer, they never forgot. And even today, when the air is thick and summer hangs heavy over Mississippi, some locals swear they feel a strange presence drifting through the night. A cool brush across the back of the neck. A faint snip-snip sound carried on the wind. Or the unsettling awareness that something is watching. Just beyond the window. A mystery that will never die. The Phantom Barber of Pascagoula remains one of America's most bizarre unsolved mysteries. He didn't kill. He didn't steal. He didn't speak. What he did, was worse. He invaded the sanctity of sleep. He turned safety into fear. He proved that sometimes the most terrifying intruders aren't the ones who break down doors, but the ones who slip through quietly, without ever waking you. And so the legend lives on. A strange figure. A pair of scissors. A whisper in the dark. A mystery with no face. No motive. No ending. Just a lingering question. When we sleep, how do we really know who enters our room?